irritated, aggravated. Can't put off potential, so we separated. Humiliated, don't deserve me. Ain't no use in thinking back on all the could be. Oh, I know we killed you to see the real you, steady lose and sleep.
For people who don't know who you are, NY'AIRA, songstress, bomb songstress, like y'all just don't even know the many layers, the many levels, like the ranges is just astounding. So she's been on HBO, Lifetime, ABC, LA, Taste of Soul, and Disney.
Yes.
Woo-hoo. Bomb. Tell people who you are and, just a little bit about your humble beginnings.
Absolutely. So I started professionally in the industry at the age of 6. Of course, the few networks that were mentioned, NBC, Nickelodeon, Disney, performing live on Broadway at the Carolines, to where I am now, just paving the way for my 17 years in the music industry and creating my authentic sound to who I am now, as at 23 years old, of course, and just being able to put my special touch and wear my heart on my sleeve. Every song that you hear from me, and even my project up and coming soon, is an extension of my experiences and who I am individually. So I'm blessed to be here.
Yes, ma'am. So out of all of the things that I mentioned, what would be your most favorite or bomb performance that you remember?
Oh, we could definitely mention Taste of Soul, because that was an experience itself. Being able to be around the likes of Brandy and other amazing artists that blessed the stage, it was different. LA is definitely a different scenery. Of course, everybody is somebody there. We're all starving artists, all up and coming. So being able to put my own personal touch and performing live was definitely an experience. And of course, I always get a high being on stage and interacting with all of my supporters. So singing right in your face with a microphone and getting to hop on stage, it's always something great for me.
I like that you consider yourself a starving artist. Like, that's crazy. You have, when I say range, and I'm like, oh, I'm feeling Beyonce. Like, it's only so many artists that can change those ranges like that and not be just the same across the board. So you're extremely talented when it comes down to that. And you're forever to consider yourself a starving artist with that much talent that you have. Humility plays a role. So why is it important for you to stay hungry and humble?
I say starving in the sense of I never lose the hunger or the drive to pursue everything. Music is my lifeline. It's an extension of who I am. And when you're doing what you love so much, it's never a day of work in your life. You're just doing what you love in general. And I never want to stop chasing that, because you never know, anything could happen. Prime example, Julie Andrews, a beautiful vocalist, actress of her day, and she went in for surgery for her voice. Next thing you know, she can't sing anymore. Wow. You never know when the opportunity is going to hit, or when God is going to say, okay, it's time to sit down. So making use of your gifts as much as you possibly can in the time that you have, and never taking it for granted, it's so important. So I'm starving to be able to express each and every time, performing as if it's my last.
You just preached the whole word. Okay, girl. So which experience grew you as an artist?
Oh, that's a great question. Of course, being both television broadcasting and a theater kid, my first major production when I was performing for The Wiz back in Detroit, I was Eveline, and the whole audition experience was amazing. Being able to be multifaceted in memorizing your scripts, to voice and being able to sing as a chorus, and of course dance. Some people are not with the freestyling or the choreography. Of course, I was one that had to grow into it, but I absolutely loved that process, and vocal warm-ups, practicing every day, learning stage right, stage left, learning how to go up and down stage, your cues as far as lighting and costume. That in itself really brought me into, okay, this is something that I really want to do for the rest of my life. And also just watching and paying attention to each and every person according to your cast and learning from them. And also being an understudy and realizing you have to sometimes remember everyone's lines in case something happens. So that was definitely a pivotal moment for me. Absolutely.
Much fun. I remember, and it's not even the same experience when I was in school back in the day, and I would get cast for certain plays and just being an understudy, like, okay, I'm ready. If someone is not here, I got the part. So that's so much fun. Was there ever a time, which you did touch on that you felt stretched?
Ooh, man. Okay. I was summer, a couple of years ago, I was opening up for Zapp and Roger.
Ooh.
And the performance was intense. 4,000 plus people in the venue, and I'm a nervous wreck, but I'm more excited than anything else. It was definitely a stretch for me, being that I had an entire 30-minute set and making sure that I engaged the audience as much as I could in that 30 minutes and not have folks falling asleep in the back of the arena for sure. So being able to have that range as far as musicality, incorporating my music and some of our most favorite songs of our time from many pivotal artists, and costume, of course, making sure everything is on point as far as makeup, stage, performance, lighting, wardrobe, and working my stage to the best of my ability with limited sound check, I might add, of course. But that was definitely a stretch for me, being that it was an awesome opportunity. And of course, it's Zapp and Rogers. So you kind of want to put your best foot forward when legends are in the room. So
That's right. All your feet forward. So inspired, which in one of your interviews, I saw that you were inspired by 70s and 90s singers. So are you Billie Holiday, Nina Simone, or Tina Marie, if you had to describe your vocal range?
Why'd you do that to me? Yeah. Tina Marie, for sure. I connect with her on so many levels. Just watching the many documentaries with her and Rick James and how she was really the underdog coming up. And
That's right.
Of course, with her ethnicity and ethnic background, everybody, of course, we were all kind of befuddled and thought that she was, of course, one of the women of color, but finding out that she wasn't, but still had an amazing voice. I definitely speak to being the underdog, and being that I am still young and being in the industry as long as I have, people still question, like, okay, well, is she still on top of her game? Is she challenging herself? And being that she's so multi-dimensional in all of her music and her songs, and how she has embodied so many different types of genres in one, and incorporating different languages. I love Tina Marie for that, and will always love her and respect her.
Oh, Tina Marie is bomb, like, for sure, like, hands down. So tell us about your newest single, Thinking, Flavor, Oomph, and Pow. HAB, in my opinion, sensual R&B, classical with a taste of jazz. And like I said, I love your different and controlled vocal range. Like, that thing is phenomenal. I'm like, oh, she switched it up. Okay, girl, do that. So, and Time, same feelings, very reminiscent to old school R&B, and redolent, evoking of feelings and thought about a special someone.
Yes.
So, tell me what inspired those tracks.
Okay, kicking it off with HAB. This was definitely around the time of my grandmother/mother's passing, and picturing in my mind where I would go and the environment that I would create for myself in a hot air balloon, and where I would take off. Of course, classical references from The Sound of Music to The Wizard of Oz, multiple different of my favorite musicals, and just really putting myself in a positive headspace and where I want to go from here, from that moment. Thinking, of course, it's a whole nother world, another side of my brain, of course, is really, as you stated, it's powerful, it's empowering, and regardless as to whoever that person is, for anyone that has listened to the song, they're always thinking about you, because we have such an amazing presence as artistic beings, and even just women in general. We leave a very powerful impression on the people around us, so you're always going to be thinking about us regardless. Of course, that one, HAB, was professionally engineered and written by myself. Thinking, Mr. Bass Heavy and myself, and written by me, of course. And then there's Time, a very softer side of me. I must say. And just basically speaking of the hardships of balancing personal relationships with business and helping that person realize, hey, regardless as to whatever it is, I'm always going to make time for you. And I am that type of a communicator. It's like, hey, I'm busy, but I'll hit you back. Love you, bye.
Right. So. Right. That speaks to your character and loyalty. Did you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So what I do is tap this mic in the mute, and sometimes I'm on mute, just running my mouth, and nobody ever hears a word that I say. So
yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Woo woo. Okay. So what's your favorite project that embodies who you are as a creative?
Ooh, as far as my personal or just other artists that inspire me as well?
It could be either or.
Okay. So shout out to my project that's actually debuting. My debut album will be coming out April of 2022. So that is definitely something that is an element of surprise. There's so many different songs that are coming out. Even my new single that's dropping this coming month soon is a whole different side of my world and my parallel of who I am. And I cannot wait to flip the script on what it means to be an artist and a creative. So I'm very excited. And as far as an album that was pivotal to me, that inspired me the most, Songs in the Key of Life, Stevie Wonder. That album right there, I can play from beginning to end nonstop and still remember every single song. And of course, Prince, you know, the Purple Rain soundtrack / album, which is one of the greatest albums of our time. Just admiring real musicians and how complicated it is, being that, of course, I play piano and guitar as well, working both sides of your brain and singing and performing. It's a lot of work. It can be. So, but those albums, no matter what mood I'm in, if I'm cleaning the house or if I'm just needing a pick me up, those two albums definitely inspire me.
What's your favorite instrument to play?
Piano. I would have to say piano because it is a challenge for me. I mean, I'm very well versed in music theory and reading my music and being an audio production major, full sailor, let's go. But piano just moves me in such a different way. I love classical music as well, and just being able to challenge myself with playing complicated pieces from like Beethoven or Chopin. And it takes a little bit of time, of course, but once I get it and I'm in the groove of it, I'm like, yes, I just beat another milestone. So always piano, always.
Okay, that's skill though. That's like you are so multi-layered from the vocals down to the instrumentals. That's crazy. I would never undermine your talents. Okay, you're not an underdog of mine. You're like top notch.
Thank you.
Okay. So, working with label versus industry or indie artistry, what are the pros and cons for you?
I do believe that both of them can have their challenges. It's really about your work ethic and your hustle. And when it comes to being on the independent side, more so, such as myself, it is a bit of a bigger grind because you don't have that machine behind you. You may have the stamp or the distribution, but you may not necessarily have that copywritten, that machine or the corporate machine to push you as heavy as a lot of artists receive. And also being that you're running a lot of your own avenues as far as your websites, your social medias, from bookings in collaboration with your team, your show tracks, your wardrobe. It's even though there are all different pieces, and of course you have a team, regardless, you're still being accounted for every waking detail. But I enjoy that personally because it's not like I'm being put in a box, because with labels you can be shelved very easily,
right?
And there are certain boxes and personas that can be put on you that aren't necessarily who you are, and wonder why people fall off so short as far as their artistry and the music industry in general, because if it's not authentically you, eventually that mask is going to crack.
Right.
So again, it's pros and cons to both sides, but the freedom of independence and just being able to pave your way on your own, it kind of gives you a lot more respect in a way. You can brush your shoulders off like, yeah, we did this, and really got it out the mud. So I love it either way, but as long as you're able to hustle to the best of your abilities, you can't go wrong.
And being authentically you. I like that. So what advice can you give new artists wanting to become discovered?
Oh yeah, because I was there. Just thinking about how many pitfalls and mistakes that we had to make to come up to where I am now. The best advice I can give to you is to study those that came before you.
That's right.
Honestly, you can pull from so many different artists and flip it and make it your own. And also add your special seasoning and hot sauce onto it, just to make sure that it's completely you. But study. If you're getting ready for a performance, watch a good documentary. I can name quite a few, from Nicki Minaj's to Michael Jackson's Dangerous tour, because it's out. The rehearsal tapes are out.
Right.
Watching that, seeing how his mannerisms are, how he communicates with his team, how Beyonce is in the studio and projecting that in rehearsals for choreography and on stage. Just really taking heed as to how can I become a better artist in addition to becoming a better creative. So watching documentaries is always a must for me. Absolutely. And watching live concerts. Learning how to keep up your stamina, because breath control is so important. You don't want to be, I am one of those people. I will admit it. When I first got started, I was huffing and puffing into a microphone trying to catch my breath and do choreography. Learning how to pace yourself and breath control, and it also comes from working out. Please don't be a lazy artist. Please work out, please. So those as far as up and coming, the best knowledge that I could give, watch the people that are up and coming, study them in and out. I'm not saying emulate them, but realize that they're the best for a reason and why they are.
Okay, I love it. You also talking about the boot camps, like, because you don't see those anymore. So when you're just popping up overnight, you're not realizing, okay, it's more to this than just me having a great voice or I'm very lyrical. So I like that you let them know, let the people know, let the people in the back know what it takes. So traveling to support the homeless, humanitarian efforts. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. Just surpassed these past couple of months. We went out to support, of course, to feed the homeless and provide them with some entertainment and love and care. And also, I've been working with multiple foundations, from Brita Cares to Brittany Johnson Cancer Foundation. I'm very big on not remembering where you come from and not being afraid to give back, because we could always fall short. The lights, the cameras, they can be gone in a flash, and next thing we know, we're back on square one.
That's right.
And you never know these people's circumstances. You never know what they're going through or the pitfalls that they may have, but showing grace and humility and helping them realize, because so many people disregard people that are going through something.
Right.
You're still human at the end of the day. And who doesn't love good food and good music? I mean, we all love to commune and show everyone that we genuinely care. So having those opportunities to connect and shake hands and show, like, hey, you're still loved, regardless as to what it is you did or didn't do, or that in which you did out of the circumstances that you thought were the best choices for you. It's okay not to be okay. And you have support and you have love. You do. So, and trust me, I've been there. I've been there.
Like 23 where, girl? What? No, you're too wise. Wise beyond your years, okay? You're welcome. So how can people support you, follow you, and download your music? And do you have merchandise?
Absolutely. So we're working on the merchandise, okay? But as far as all platforms, all music, my music is available from Apple Music, Google Play, Spotify, all platforms that you can stream music and even get it on some MP3s. It's all available. And of course, being able to interact with me, keep up with me, it's all at Nyaira Collins. That's NY'AIRA. Collins with 2 L's. And if you're not able to search me right away, you could always check out NyairaCollins.com with all of my information there.
Woo-hoo. So thank you so much. I love your interview. Your answers always is like a vibe, a word, okay? I feel educated, empowered. Black girls rock. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the love.
Bye.
Bye now.
Agitated, aggravated, can't Crippled off potential, so we separated. Humiliated, don't deserve me. Ain't no use in thinking back on all that could be.